So, about 2 or 3 years ago, I had this really interesting conversation with an elderly lady in Belgium. And, as we talked, we also kind of talked about our cultures and beliefs, and it went really well. She was really nice. And at the end of our talk, she told me that I was basically different than other Muslims. Perhaps more, open-minded and modern. So I didn't quite understand what she meant by that, but since she was really positive and encouraging about it, I decided to take it as a compliment, and I thanked her. Just like how I did before and even after, whenever I heard similar things from people. Belgium is a majoritarily non-Muslim country, just to let you know. Especially when I was young, these statements telling me that I was somehow different than other Muslims really sounded pleasant to me. However, as I grew up, I started to question the underlying meaning behind these statements. There were mainly two things that I really didn't understand. Who were these other Muslims that are supposed to be the norm? And why am I an exception to the rule? I mean, I knew many Muslim people from various cultural backgrounds, and it wasn't really hard for me to relate to them, and nothing really made me feel like I was somewhat different or an outlier. However, again, as I grew up, I was able to see that the wonderful way in which we're portrayed on the media is what these other Muslims are supposed to be. So this was really frustrating because the way we're portrayed in the media is much different than the reality. In fact, in Islam, there's a different way to practice Islam, and Islamic rules are interpreted differently by different people. So even among Muslims, there are people that disagree with each other. We kind of all have our unique relationship with our faith. What was even more disappointing is that when these people that were prejudiced against Muslims and held negative views about us met someone like me that didn't fit into these preconceptions, they did not consider to change their views. In fact, it was really easy for them to tell me and themselves that I was the odd one. Yet I thank these people with a smile. This way to think, to label people as outliers when they don't fit our preconceptions is not something that only happens to us Muslims. I can easily say that everyone in this room has probably heard sentences with the same mindset. Some examples might be, oh, you're too sensitive for a boy, or you're actually funny for a girl, or maybe, aren't you Asians supposed to be good at math? They all lie on the same structure. There is a preconception mainly based on stereotypes, and people that don't meet these preconceptions are labeled as outlier. Instead of changing our mindset, we choose the easiest way: denial and rejection. We often don't realize how the messages we give can sometimes be problematic. And it's really important to listen to ourselves and maybe make some changes if necessary. We should all try to be more inclusive with our language and expression. And I'd like to end this talk on a positive note for the people that have been labeled as outliers because maybe they did not act black enough or gay enough, just like how I've been told that I was different than other Muslims. No matter how far people can try to detach me from my Muslim identity by telling me that I'm an exception, the fact that I'm a Muslim will always be true. They'll never be able to completely deny it. And the same thing is true for all of us. Therefore, when your conversation with these people ends, even with a thank you, I believe that they leave with a mind more open to the idea of encountering other exceptions. Maybe one day these exceptions will become the norm for them and we'll be able to understand each other a little bit more. Thank you.